A wedding bell rings across the Heartland ranch, but behind the joy, change is coming, change that will test love, family, and the bonds that hold them together. The season begins not with heartbreak, but with hope. The wide Canadian sky stretches over the ranch as friends and family gather for one of the biggest moments in Heartland history, Georgie's wedding. The girl who once galloped across these fields with dreams in her heart is now stepping into adulthood, ready to build a life of her own. Her dress shimmers in the golden evening light, her smile glowing as she walks down the aisle, every step echoing the journey that brought her here. The ranch is alive with celebration, white flowers tied to the fences, horses grazing peacefully in the distance, and the familiar sound of laughter carried by the wind. It feels like a fairy tale moment, but this is Heartland, where joy is always touched by life's deeper truths. As Georgie stands before her partner, surrounded by the people who love her most, there's a silence that holds weight, because everyone knows this day isn't just about vows. It's about change. Amy watches with a tender smile, remembering her own wedding day, the promises she made and the promises she lost. Lou hurries through the crowd, making sure everything runs perfectly, her hands busy but her heart heavy with worry. Because for Lou, no event is ever simple. Tim shifts in his seat, his eyes locked on Georgie. He's proud, but fear lingers beneath his tough exterior. He has seen enough of life to know that even the happiest beginnings can carry shadows. Then the music swells. The vows begin. The ranch, usually filled with the sound of hooves and laughter, now listens to something different. Georgie's voice trembling with emotion as she pledges her future. It's a moment that feels like destiny, but even destiny is not without its challenges. And in the stillness of that promise, viewers are left wondering, what storms could break over Heartland now that Georgie has chosen her path? But even as the vows echo through the ranch, not everyone feels at peace. Beneath the surface of this beautiful day, cracks begin to show in the Heartland family. What looks like perfection from the outside is never that simple on the inside. Lou is the first to reveal her stress. She's been the one holding every detail of this wedding together. The flowers, the guests, the endless planning that never seems to end. Yet behind her practiced smile, her nerves are raw. She watches Georgie with a sisterly pride, but her own doubts creep in. Is Georgie truly ready for this leap? And what will it mean for the ranch when one of its own starts a life away from Heartland? Lou feels the weight of it, though she hides it from the rest. Tim, meanwhile, is fighting a different battle. To him, Georgie is not just a niece. She's another daughter he's watched grow, stumble, and rise stronger each time. Now as he sees her standing at the altar, his protective instincts burn hotter than ever. He's proud of her strength, proud of who she has become, yet the thought of letting her go gnaws at him. In his heart, he questions the man Georgie has chosen. Can he be trusted with someone Tim loves so fiercely? His silence is heavy, his stare unshakable, and those close to him sense a storm brewing. And then there's Amy. She claps, she cheers, she smiles as the bride shines, but her heart carries memories too deep to ignore. Watching Georgie step into marriage reminds her of her own journey of Ty and of the promises fate stole away. For Amy, the joy is real, but so is the ache. It is a bittersweet moment, one where pride and grief meet, leaving her caught between celebration and longing. As the family smiles for pictures and laughter fills the yard, there are moments, quick glances, sharp words, uneasy pauses, that hint at the struggles ahead. Heartland has always been a place of love, but love does not erase tension. It only makes it more complicated. And now, as Georgie steps forward into her new life, the family she leaves behind must confront what this change means for each of them. The celebration hides it well, but soon those buried conflicts will rise to the surface, and when they do, they could shatter the peace of Heartland forever. Beneath the tension, there lies the heartbeat of Heartland family. For all their worries, all their fears, the people gathered on this day know one truth. They are bound together by love, and nothing can erase that. Jack stands tall, his weathered face softened by pride as he watches Georgie. He has seen her grow from a spirited girl into a woman ready to take on the world. His words may be few, but his presence speaks louder than any speech. When he takes Georgie's hand, the moment is tender and unforgettable. It is a silent reminder that even as life changes, the roots of Heartland run deep. Amy, though weighed down by memories, finds a spark of healing in Georgie's joy. She sees in her niece's eyes the same fire that once carried her through life's toughest battles. The ranch, the horses, the endless fields, they've all shaped Georgie just as they shaped Amy. And in this, Amy realizes something powerful. Georgie's happiness doesn't erase the past. Instead, it honors it. Each smile, each laugh becomes a way of carrying forward the legacy of those no longer here. Lou finally exhales when she sees her sister and daughter smiling together. She realizes that no matter how much she worries, life has a way of moving forward, carrying them all along with it. For Lou, the wedding becomes more than an event. It becomes proof that love, no matter how messy, no matter how uncertain, is still worth the risk. And for Tim, the man who has fought harder than anyone to protect his family, the wedding is a battle of the heart. He cannot stop the future from coming. He cannot keep Georgie from choosing her own path. But he can stand by her, support her, and remind her that Heartland will always be home. This is the emotional core of Season 19. Joy woven with sorrow, pride layered with fear, and a family learning once again how to hold together as life pulls them in different directions. Through the laughter, through the tears, one thing is clear. Every ending is also a beginning. And Georgie's beginning may just light the way for everyone else. Just as the wedding feels safe, just as joy begins to settle across the ranch, shadows creep in. Heartland has never been free of secrets, and on this day of celebration, one truth threatens to shatter everything. It starts with a look. Georgie, standing at the altar, catches something in her groom's eyes, something she cannot place but cannot ignore. The smile falters, if only for a second. The music continues, the guests cheer, but Georgie's heart beats with unease. Tim senses it too. He's been watching closely all day, every detail, every moment. And when a hushed conversation passes between two guests at the back of the crowd, his jaw tightens. He knows something isn't right. Then comes the silence, a pause in the vows. Georgie's voice trembles as she stumbles over the words, her eyes darting to her family, searching for reassurance. Amy rises slightly from her seat, her instincts kicking in while Lou whispers a desperate, "It's okay, keep going." But it isn't okay. Something unseen, something unspoken hangs heavy in the air. And then, the twist. A revelation whispered, a truth exposed, an interruption that no one could have expected. The crowd gasps, the ranch falls into chaos, and Georgie is left frozen at the altar, her perfect day unraveling before her very eyes. Tim storms forward, fury blazing in his voice. Lou clutches Amy's hand, her face pale. Jack bows his head, knowing all too well that happiness in Heartland is never simple. The screen fades to black, but the questions echo louder than ever. What secret has been revealed? Who can Georgie really trust? And will this wedding mark the start of a beautiful new chapter, or the beginning of heartbreak that could tear the family apart? The final card appears. Heartland Season 19, Episode 1. The Wedding That Changes Everything. The screen is dark. The sound of a horse galloping echoes in the distance, fading into the soft toll of a wedding bell. Then a single voice breaks the silence. Nothing will ever be the same again. Images flicker across the screen. Georgie's face streaked with tears. Amy gripping Spartan's reins as if holding on to the past. Tim shouting in anger. Lou collapsing into Jack's steady arms. Every flash reveals another piece of a story too big to ignore. This is not just a wedding. This is the moment that changes the course of Heartland forever. The narration sharpens. This season, every secret, every choice, every heartbreak will test the bonds that hold them together. And on Georgie's wedding day, the truth will come crashing down. The visuals cut faster now. Georgie running across the ranch in her dress. The sky darkening as a storm rolls in. Jack's voice carrying over the chaos. Family is all we have. We either stand together or fall apart. Then the music swells, pulling viewers to the edge. The joy of a wedding collides with the fear of loss, creating a tension that demands answers. Will Georgie's love survive? Will the family find strength or be torn apart by the weight of secrets? The questions hang unanswered as the screen fades once more. And then, the final blow. The title card blazes across the screen. Heartland Season 19, Episode 1. Georgie Gets Married. The voice returns. Softer this time, but with urgency. Don't miss the most emotional premiere yet. The wedding, the secrets, the storm. This is Heartland like you've never seen it before. The screen cuts to black. A single sound remains, the echo of Georgie's vow unfinished. The screen fades back in, but this time there is no music. Only silence. A wide shot of Heartland stretches across the horizon. The golden fields, the rolling hills, the ranch that has held generations of joy and pain. It should feel peaceful, but it doesn't. Something lingers, something heavy, as if the land itself knows that change is coming. A single candle flickers against the darkness. The image cuts to Georgie, her veil drifting in the wind, her face caught between hope and fear. Her lips part as if to speak, but her words are stolen by the storm gathering in the distance. The narrator's voice rises, low and steady. This is more than a wedding. This is the moment that will test every bond, every promise, and every piece of Heartland. Suddenly, the pace quickens. Montage flashes one after another. Amy riding Spartan through the rain, her eyes filled with fire. Tim slamming his fist against the barn wall, his voice breaking. Lou shouting over the roar of thunder, desperately trying to hold the family together. Jack standing alone under the old tree, whispering words only the wind can hear. And then Georgie again, her wedding dress muddy, her hands trembling, her eyes wide with shock. The music explodes, strings rising higher and higher until they cut out in an instant, leaving only silence. The voice returns, colder now, almost like a warning. The vows may be spoken, but not all of them will be kept. The final image. Georgie's face frozen in disbelief, a tear sliding down her cheek before the screen fades to black. A single line appears on the screen. Burning bright. Heartland Season 19, Episode 1, The Wedding That Changes Everything. And as the words fade, one last sound echoes, the unfinished vow, I promise. The screen cuts to black,